Rojas may have the advantage. They come up onto the banking.
Boy, Rojas was able to put power down that inside. That's hard to do down there.
Whenever you increase that steering input, you're then asking the rear of the car to jump out, but he got the traction, gets the lead.
Now you got to wonder also right there what John Fogerty's feeling as far as aero buffeting with that side-by-side side drafting, and then of course once the 01 got in front, the wing dumping all that wind across the front of the car.
Nice work, just race the track and trust your spotter.
Voice you're hearing is team manager from Chip Ganassi with Felix Sabates, Tim Keane.
Good advice too.
Good clean racing between these guys. Remember, there's no love lost between the two.
Whoa.
Fogarty's really struggling. Fogarty is really struggling for grip here. Frizzell, I think, will be through in a second spot here. If not this corner, certainly he has more grip. Rojas locks it up.
Now
In traffic there, that could be a huge factor if he released that brake early enough. Look at Fogarty wiggling the car.
You saw the twin black marks off the back of the 99. He's really got the temperatures of the back of the tires are up really high right now. He needs to back down, cool this thing off a little bit.
Only 13 laps on the board, and we're seeing this sort of action, guys.
Look at the wing plate on the right side rear being bent out. Somebody's made contact up underneath there.
Coming by the 4th place GT car, Sylvain Tremblay. Let's take you back a lap. Let's show you what went down with Memo Rojas and John Fogerty.
There is contact been made at some point, we'll see.
It was already there at that point.
Yeah, it's there already, you're right.
Watch this. Fogarty just runs out a little bit wide. Memo tucks to the inside, and then you'd think with that steering input, he wouldn't be able to get the power down, but he does, Dorsey.
Yeah, that's what caught me off, because usually I've seen guys try that, and it doesn't normally work. Usually just spin up the tires. But here, now they're on a side draft. I think that John's car is not stable at all right now. He's just going to let this happen.
It's almost a game of chicken at that point.
Yeah,
when you got to run flat out through this banking turn, and the tires are giving up their best, and now we see the pressure from Frizzell. Can he get that second spot?
On board with Brian Frizzell in the office depot, Doran Delara. He's looking for any way through. An opportunity on John Fogarty.
Oh, he's got a lift to keep out of the back. John's car is really, really unstable right now.
That kink suddenly becomes a big problem when you start to lose grip. Normally it's flat out on fresh tires, and as this run continues, that right-hand kink on the infield is going to be more and more of a problem for these drivers.
What you got with the Gainsco gang, Chris?
Well, I've been listening to John on the radio for the past few laps, and he's just saying he's trying to take it easy on the tires. I think we can hear him talking right there. He said he's trying to take it easy on the tires, but he's just burning the rears off. So Kyle Brown, the engineer for the team, is telling him to make some adjustments with the sway bar, soften up the rear of the car, but also make some adjustments with the fuel mixture, trying to turn down as much fuel is going into that car and actually try and take some stress off the rear tires by taking some horsepower and torque away from the motor.
And all of a sudden, Rojas has a 2.1 second lead as Frizzell is applying the pressure but still can't find a way through. And remember, every car must stop in the first 45 minutes. We'll be back.
This is the beginning of the new era, the first victory for the Daytona.
And the famous 59 is back. Magnussen and Pappas are giving it to each other.
And they're top speed here. That's stupid.
Andy Wallace, Milcaduno win both Homestead races.
What a fantastic storybook outing this is.
We are back at Homestead Miami Speedway. Will we have some more history-making moments today? We will find out. A long way to go. Welcome to Speed's coverage of round 2 of the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series. This is the Grand Prix of Miami, where some local drivers are extra excited to be here, particularly Oz Negri, the first name you see there. Oz has his parents who have traveled all the way from Brazil to be here. It's the first time his mother has seen him race in 20 years. The last time was at Silverstone in England. So we hope that Oz and the Mike Shank team and John Pugh have a good day. The 10 is in.
21 minutes into this event, 22 minutes, let's call it. Ricky Taylor on pit road, number 10. 4 new tires going on. He's been on the radio saying
we are going to have new tires.
way loose out there on the racetrack. Came in 4 sticker tires on the 10.
Well, that's had a similar strategy last year. Dorsey had problems keeping the tires underneath this race car.
Now, leaders at start finish now, we have to stay ahead.
Got to stay on that lead lap. That is critical.
Ricky is the leader. He's got 2 GT cars between him and you.
Cost you about 35 seconds just to roll down pit lane. The difference between staying on the racetrack and coming in the pits at 45 miles an hour, plus the stop. So that's why he lost almost a lap here.
That's all good information they just gave him. Let's take a look at something that just happened.
Was there contact between Alex Popov and Ricky?
Yes, sir, just a little bit.
I think the key to this stop was Ricky was dropping back far enough. If they wanted to make that pit stop, they were going to go a lap down. So they had to make that call now.
And this was inevitable that was going to happen. Oh,
close to that GT traffic, dives down the inside.
In the back of the Corvette.
Problem is the GTs stack up a little bit slower into the corners. They don't have the same braking and downforce abilities of a Daytona prototype. So Frizzell made a good clean move on Fogarty, but then he had that GT traffic slow up ahead.
Hearing reports.
This is Patrick Dempsey. We had a report of this car slowing down, but it looks like he's back working well again now.
Copy that, copy that. All right, smooth and patient, smooth and patient.
That's the voice of engineer and crew chief Kurt Whiteman.
I feel like I got a tire going down in the rear.
He's trying to coach Patrick around.
And this is where you really have to
Copy
interpret.
that. It might be pickup. See if you can scrub it off and it gets better.
There you go. Talk about interpretation. The engineer is going to say, what does it feel like, Patrick? Which corners is it doing it in? Because it can really give you a false sense, Dorsey, as to what the car is doing in this type of slippery condition.
And what? Oh, look at this. Cutting and thrusting through the middle of the field.
Look at on the inside, the 60 Mike Shank Crown Royal car, but keep an eye on number 8. It's Mike Forrest, the Canadian driver, has made incredible progress. He started 13th and last in the DP field, and he's made his way up to 8th. Very rapid progress.
As I love to say, that's an angry little group right there.
Look at that. Paul Edwards again comes through that turn 2 area, having to use all of the road, and that hurts his ability to get on the power off this area. Look at these guys rubbing the 9 car and the 2.
Alex Popov's not afraid to mix it up today, is he?
No, but it's too early in the race to be knocking the sides of the car off and causing all that grief to yourself.
Well, unfortunately, the 90 Coyote seems to be going backwards. Brian, tell us more. Chris?
Well, Lee just spoke with Troy Fliss, and he said the car is slowing down quite a bit because they're on their worst set of tires for the race. They looked at 4 different sets that they had going into the race. They had 2 used sets that they were going to use, and he's on that worst of those 2 sets. So as this race is starting off, I think Paul Edwards is just dealing with a set of tires that is just done. So he's going backwards, and Troy's saying, hey, the other 3 sets that we've got for later in this race, 2 are brand new, 1's in pretty good shape. But you saw that 8 car, we talked about what Peter Barron was doing. He had 4 brand new sets for the race, so that car seems to be coming alive. And remember, they got 3 more bullets in the gun.
You know, every race I've ever called here and every race I was ever in here, it's always like this. You get these cars that drop back so fast. Here's trouble for the 67 with the right rear down. Or is it the right front, or
Right
both?
front,
For sure. Yeah.
Steve Bertho behind the wheel. This is the Rolex 24 GT winning car for TRG. Kevin Buckler just flew from
Don't wreck the car. Take it easy.
to be here for a sports car program. Then we'll return to Vegas tonight for tomorrow's Sprint Cup race.
Kevin on the radio there, just trying to tell him to slow down. If you come in too quickly, that flailing tire will just damage too much body work and cost you extra time. And you have to wonder, maybe they got the setup doors to try to keep the rear underneath it. You then develop a bit of a push and overload that right front.
And it's this racetrack. I mean, you can't emphasize enough how much this racetrack eats tires. It just shreds them.
In GT.
Tell us what happened. You hit the tire wall?
No, the tire just went flat. I had a flat spot and I just wore the tire out.
Okay, copy that, because the car looks good. You're coming in. You're coming in. You're going to stay.
In GT, Jan Magnussen continues to lead the way.
5,
Boris
4,
said
3, 2.
is second.
Full course yellow,
And
right
Dane
front
Cameron
splitter, guys,
is
right front
third.
splitter.
We've got a
Check it
full
out.
course yellow. Full course yellow. Now, is it for debris? We believe so. Patrick Dempsey brings the 40 in. There will be a flurry of pit stops. Last year's caution was within 20 minutes from the end. It's a whole different race this year. A reminder not to miss NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot. It's 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. John Roberts and the gang will have it all from Vegas. Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart on the show live. Plus, they will relive those magical moments of Jeff Gordon's historic win in Phoenix last week. And we welcome you back to Homestead Miami Speedway
Patrick Dempsey just had an interesting moment behind the pace car there, and the Mazda went up in smoke. Looked like it was on fire, but we never saw any flames, and he got out.
Look at this. Blundell's had a great run here, all the way up to third. He got around the 99 car there before we saw this caution.
Pit lane, here we come.
Everyone now makes a driver change. That first driver will be good on points. They've survived the 30-minute mark. Chris?
Well, Mike Forrest has had a great run from last in Daytona Prototype all the way up to 8th. And Peter Barron's car. Peter Barron does a lot with a little, and I think this team's strategy of saving tires this weekend is really going to pay off. Ryan Dial getting behind the wheel, throwing 4 new Continental tires on the car. Sunoco fuel in, already done with the fuel, just finishing up the tires. Ryan Dial down the wheel.
Milo Rojas in the 01 Telmex entry in. 4 new Continental tires, Sunoco fuel going in, just waiting for the tires now. Right front going on, the fuel is already in. Car's in gear.
Well, they got out nicely, but not as nicely as the 23. The Mike Shank Racing United Autosports entry. Mark Blundell, Calvin called it coming into the pits, had made great progress to get by this car, the 99. Now the 23 beat everybody off pit road.
Good for Mike Shank's boys and this team.
Remember the run at the Rolex 24 with Martin Brundle, Mark Blundell, Mark Patterson, and Zach Brown. They finished 4th. They were the surprise of the race, and everybody was thrilled to see them achieve that. And here, on a limited program in 2011, more positive news for that United Autosports Johnny Walker Ford-powered Riley. Daytona prototypes come in first, and GT the next round during caution. That's the way the pit stops work. You're looking at Patrick Dempsey still stranded on the infield.
He's got back in the car, and they got a tow hook on him, and they're going to get him back so he can have the car looked at.
Whoa.
Now this happened before what we just saw, I think. It looks like that's oil, boys. See it all? I don't know if he got an oil line that came loose on that car, but he had a big spin on the banking, and that's the smoke. I bet you oil line came loose.
Yep. That's a hairy ride.
You're not kidding.
You don't want to...
This is what it looked like from Pat's point of view.
Yep, the view's not getting any better.
No, it's not.
57 has led every lap in GT. Jan Magnussen, who qualified the car on pole, now brings it to the Stevenson pit lane.
Yeah, split strategies down here, Lee. We had Boris said staying out on the racetrack, a bunch of Mazdas also staying out, but the Stevenson car that has led the whole way in GT, Jan Magnussen getting out, Robin Liddell getting behind the wheel. So this team deciding potentially Robin Liddell having a really long day behind the wheel in this Camaro, but they're going to throw 4 tires at it. Now in GT, there is no tire limit, so these guys don't have to work a strategy like we've seen in Daytona Prototype. They can throw as many tires at these cars all weekend long. So if they have issues later, run out.
And the Stevenson boys convert their very first pole into another win.
Well, Boris has got a wave around here, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because when they're collecting the overall leader of the race, the DP leader, the GT cars do have the opportunity to get a wave by. But meanwhile, the Turner BMW is in pit lane. Brian?
Driver ID.
4 new Continental tires here, and Bill Auberland takes over. That caution came at the perfect time for Turner Motorsports. Paul Dallanana out, Bill Auberland in. Expect to see him in until the checkered flag.
We should give some credit to Paul Dallanana. He is improving with each and every session, let alone race meeting, and did a very nice job in late practice and did a terrific job in qualifying. He's handed over a good, clean car to Bill Auberland. To the pits.
Well, Calvin, you were just talking about Boris said getting that wave around Mike. Did you guys make a bad call there and come to pit lane?
Right now, I don't think so. I mean, we got the 45-minute rule coming up in a few minutes, and so we're kind of anticipating that. Everyone else is coming in now, and by the time we come around, we think it's going to recycle. So, we'll see.
Here is Boris said in the Marsh Racing Corvette, a brand new car for 2011. As Cal mentioned a little earlier, they did not do the Rolex 24 at Daytona in this car, but both of its drivers did in 2 different teams. Teddy Marsh feeling very positive about this new car. They're excited about it, and they feel that they have a real shot at winning Grand Am GT races this season.
See the difference with the GT cars, they use this 5-lug system as opposed to the single nut on the DPs. Takes a lot longer to change those tires, about 7 seconds longer.
41 serviced and sent. That was the second Dempsey Racing car. Track is clear and clean, and we go with Ricky Taylor, who leads the field. Look at Ryan Dial trying to force his way. The 01 of Memo Rojas. And then the Gainsco car looking racy as well.
Key for Ricky Taylor is he was on hot tires, so did he get any pickup under these caution laps? That was what will happen. It creates like a snowball where the tires are hot, just grabs all the loose rubber around the racetrack, makes it very tricky, but it looks like he's got him cleaned up. A good start for him.
Car number 5 is third in the line. That is David Donahue. That car led 120 laps at the Rolex 24, the third highest lap count, but in the end, the race got away from them. They had a fire, they had a clutch issue, and a spin, and it all kind of went away at the wrong time. They're out to make amends and really begin their championship run right here, right now.
And this is all good for Ricky Taylor up ahead. Everybody side by side. Here comes the 99 up the inside to make it 3 wide for a moment.
Oh, Rojas, good clean move. When you're making that move and someone else is going to chop across you, that was tight there. 61 could suddenly have taken the 99 out if they'd gone for the apex.
Been a driver change here on the office depot. Delara, Henri Richard has taken over from Brian Frizzell, and then you'll see Brian get in later in this race. So Gurney has taken over from Fogarty.
Oh, watch this
Dial
guy.
has taken over. Look at Dial. He goes high in the Star Wars car. Maybe too high because he brushed the wall.
It's dirty up there. These cars normally don't run up in that upper lane.
Look at the 60 car there. Oz Negri looking for a way down the inside of everyone. This is his home track. He's got his mum and dad here, as you said, Lee, and he wants to put on a show for them.
There's a show going on up front. Donahue's under siege from the 01 of Rojas. That was a very savvy move. Mamo wants to make progress, and he wants to get ahead right now. He's got Blundell next on his shopping list.
Make no mistake, Memo Rojas is the real deal. When he had his debut season in Daytona Prototypes, he looked like he had a deer with the deer in the headlights type look on him, but right now he's got the experience, he's got the confidence to get the job done, whatever the scenario.
That poor 41 GT car stuck in the middle. He wishes he was anywhere but where it's at right now.
Inside, Rojas on Blundell. How deep will Mark go? He kicks the BMW behind him.
Oz just bumped back there in the back. Everybody watch this when it gets on the banking. It's going to go crazy here.
I tell you, he's doing a great job. It's the number 2 car. Alex Popov is doing a tremendous job in the second of the Star Works machine. There's nowhere near the Daytona Prototype experience of the rest of this field. He is really showing his mettle here in the early laps.
Oh, Dane Cameron, they just got together.
They did.
Richard and Cameron, and a tire down.
Yeah.
Big crash here.
Would have taken down that right rear tire when he clipped him.
Oh, what a shame for
That is a disaster. This car was quick here today.
Boy. Dane Cameron in the 41 Mazda was doing everything he could do to get out of that situation. And unfortunately, you heard it on board. There's a full
course caution of the day.
Brian will be devastated.
Oh, no.
I don't know what to say.
I do. I won't.
We were on board. We couldn't see it from the overhead to see who was at fault. But with the GT car, you can't disappear. You've got to give him some room.
And Dane Cameron was in there doing the best he could do. You can't disappear like you say. And I knew when they went on the banking it was going to get fought. A lot of damage.
That unique steering wheel that Henri Richard and Brian Frizzell use has like grips within the steering wheel itself that are molded.
Talk us through the replay, Dorse.
Well, I knew this was going to happen. Watch, this is coming off the hairpin. They come up onto the banking here, and everybody's going to be jockeying for position. Now remember, look at Dane Cameron up there in the 41 Mazda. He's up on the top lane. He's holding his position, doing everything right. Now they're going to lay down in the corner right there. Not enough room, and it hit left front of Dave Cameron to the right rear of Henri Richard. Richard's tire goes down, and he hits that wall square sideways, which does a lot of damage.
So we see Cameron heads for the pit lane immediately.
Here you'll see it.
Wasn't enough, didn't give each other enough room.
Right.
I'd have to say that if anyone could have made the adjustment, it would be the DP car with more downforce and grip.
Well, Dane did what he did. You know, he stayed in the line. He didn't